Happy Thursday, everybody. It's Josh here with On the Wrong Lead, and we got a fun little show for you guys this week. We've been doing a year in review, kind of awards kind of thing for a couple years now. We're gonna keep that ball rolling this year. We're gonna talk about the year that was 2021. I know we're already into 2022. And the actual awards with the clips and all this other nonsense is coming up, but figured we'd have a little bit of fun here. We'll do a little debating, we'll talk live, some chat interaction, and just kind of all around have a good time here. But they are loading into the gate here at Sam Houston while we wait for some of our members here to get ready. One person who definitely is ready and wore his nicest shirt, Mr. Mark Capitan. Mark L. Capitan.
It's El Capitan, yeah.
It's El Capitan. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing good, man. Good. How you doing?
Good. That's we made it through another year. I mean, I know it's like we're well into the new year at this point, but yeah. Oh yeah.
I think we're like 2 weeks into almost 3 weeks into the new year, and neither Caleb nor I has hit a pick six. So something's clearly wrong with 2022. We need to fix this. But 2021, it happened.
Yeah, Chase already saying that we need to tighten this up, and Mr. Steven Fox is just here for the Destiny 2 chat, apparently. So, Mark, excited for the Witch Queen coming up.
I am stoked for the Witch Queen. I mean, I love the level cap. It'll make it easier for people to get rolling first thing. I think the changes to the blues once you hit the 3075 cap, going to be a real massive thing. Less sticking up your inventory. I think a lot of good changes, a lot of good stuff. Oh, and I also like that the 3 exotics where you can get the catalyst now through through doing regular participation stuff. Also good changes. So I think a lot of good Destiny changes with this with Witch Queen, and storyline looks pretty killer. The teasers are awesome. I'm stoked.
Chase also said, and the League of Legos, which means we have to bring in Mr. BD Horse player, the newest League of Legos player, this side of the Mississippi. How are you enjoying it so far, Brian?
I refuse to talk about it. I am in League of Legos witness protection. I'm not allowed to discuss it on camera. It's a fun game, but it's one of those games where you realize you're like, holy crap, I just wasted 3 hours of my life I'll never get back. And I lost to a 9-year-old in Brazil. It's a great game.
Who's fucking your mom?
Oh, man. That's good. Speaking of fucking your mom, Caleb Knight.
What the hell just said?
Well, that was a good transition there, Josh.
No,
is that because he's from West Virginia?
We're just gonna roll right past that one. But Caleb and I will be streaming League of Legends in the near future when we turn pro. Yeah. So Mark already put the juju about you not hitting a pick six, nor Mark hitting a pick six. Stephen Fox with the real information though. Dave has hit a pick six, so all is right in the world.
He's a better happer than Caleb and I combined. So yeah, that's all is right in the world.
Chase and
he
I
probably hit it on he probably hit it on like a $10 ticket. Or
it was a $24 ticket, I think.
Yeah,
or $16 or something ridiculous. And
on $3 and a pack of gum and 6 paper clips or something.
Yeah, he MacGyvered it. Chase and I were talking about it last night on the podcast, and he's just like, this is what he does. The man just comes in out of nowhere and just hits a pick six, and then he just leaves. And he hasn't got the leave part down yet. I'm sure we'll keep him around for a couple of weeks, but he's. I know I see him handicapping the Stronic 5 because
he was playing Laurel today. So I mean,
God bless that man.
The man, he goes from 0 to Laurel.
It's getting close. When you play Laurel, it's almost time for him to run out for a pack of camels, and he'll be back in 3 to 4 years. Daddy will be home, okay?
I thought it was like Newports or something. Newports?
It can be camels. I'm in Indiana. It's always camels.
Really? So around me, it's always Newports.
I thought it was too small t-shirt.
Hey, you leave
Well-
my slightly too. I gained a few pounds since I purchased this. It happens. I got fat.
That's because you purchased it in the 6th grade.
Well, as we get started here on the awards portion of the show, I did want to go around and see what everyone's drinking. Brian, you said you have an Elliott Ness there in front of you.
I'm going with beer tonight. I got Great Lakes Brewing Elliott Ness Amber Lager. I like it. I've always liked the Great Lakes offerings. The Elliott Ness is a bit different, but it's not bad.
Caleb, what you got there?
I don't have anything in here right now. I'll have to grab something when you start rambling about a horse or something later.
Mark?
A little bit of the new. I'm sorry, over here. There we go. The new Little Book 5. So was able to grab one at my local. So figured I'd give it a shot.
And I just poured the last of the old barrel proof special release rye from Jack Daniels. It is definitely a Caleb pour. So, and for those who don't know, Caleb pour is when you pour the last pour of the bottle and you think it's only a pour and it's really like 2.5. So,
How many baby splashes is that?
a Caleb pour is equal to 1 to 7 baby splashes depending on the night.
Depending on the night and how many it's not really a consistent measurement.
The funny thing about baby splashes is the first one is usually the right size. It's the 5th one that ends up being the regular pour is the one that gets you.
Yeah, it's a two-fisted toddler pour.
Hey, was that Rainbow Six night when he started with a baby splash? And next thing you know, he's like half a bottle through.
Yeah,
That was amazing.
Yeah. I think it was more than a half a bottle, wasn't it?
He's like, just a baby
we were getting
splash.
towards the end, we were getting a little concerned about Caleb.
Well, 45 baby splashes will do that to a man.
It'll catch up with you.
All right, let's move on to the awards here. All right, we got a couple spreadsheets here. We got a couple different awards. I mixed up the order a couple different ways, and I think we have some fun stuff to talk about here. As there's an objection at Sam Houston here, but yeah, we're gonna start off with 3-year-old of the year. I thought this was straightforward, but apparently, and I think Caleb also kind of thought this would be a quick one to talk about, and Mark. As soon as I said to Mark, I'm like, all right, this is how we're going to kind of do this category. He started arguing with me. So I guess let's start with this, right? We have nominees of Essential Quality, Medina Spirit, Jackie's Warrior, Life is Good, Flightline, Ybeer, Malthot, and Golden Pal. Who put Golden Pal on here?
Had to be
That was
Mark.
me.
Had to be Mark.
That was me.
Mark, what are you thinking?
A horse that actually won his last start of the year, unlike the horse that you were trying to include in the logical Final Four of Jackie's Warrior, who
The last
did
horse,
not.
the last race of the year. What difference does that make?
Um,
All the good horses already gone to the barn. You're beating up on like last year's leftovers.
Yeah, but it's a 3-year-old in a turf sprint, and he actually showed up and did what he was supposed to do.
It's like saying, hey, this horse looked really good in Pegasus when the other 19 3-year-olds all went off to stud.
I mean, you're really telling me that Golden Pal's performance was less impressive than Jackie's Warrior absolutely tossing a dud in the Breeders' Cup out of nowhere? I mean, Jackie's Warrior was how short? 2 to 5 or something, and was supposed to win that field by 20 and just freaking no-shows, and you're telling me that's deserving of, consideration of your sort of Final Four 3-year-olds?
Well, Life is Good lost to Jackie's Warrior, so should we toss him out too?
He won his last race of the year, so he's fine.
He did win
Okay, won the last race of the year. Gotcha.
And I also don't think Life is Good really wants to go that short. It was in the Jerkins, so the King's Bishop. So I think Life is Good really wants a mile or a little bit further. I think there's a bit of an asterisk there over wasn't running at the right distance. Jackie's Warrior in his final start of the year was running the right distance.
All right, so here's the thing. All right, we're going to try and narrow this down to a top 3, right? You really think that there's an argument for Golden Pal to be top 3-year-old of the year?
Top 3 in this list?
Yeah.
No. Top 4, yes. He's my 4th.
Well,
he would be my 4th on here.
All
Eat
right,
a B. Eat a B.
E to B.
I did
Bam,
a
Golden
lot.
Pal's off the list. Who put Malthot on here? Is it also you, Mark?
That was also me.
How'd you spell that one right, but screwed up the other one?
Yeah. So first of all, Mark was like like spelled your beer like this, dude. I don't know what the heck he was thinking, but apparently, yeah, he can spell Malathot, but he can't spell your beer. Malathot, tell me your argument here.
I think oftentimes the Philly divisions get ignored, and I think she's the best out of the Philly side. And so, Philly 3-year-olds, I felt like she at least deserves some consideration on body of work throughout the year, and she ran some really good races. She's again, I have no problem tossing her, but I think at least this is in consideration. We can't ignore the Philly division.
FYI, we didn't order these, but I could already tell the bottom two were just like no hopers. But Brian, you were saying, sorry.
Can I'm going to say this, it's going to come out wrong. Can we downgrade the Kentucky Oaks from last year? Malathot won, but
100%.
what did that field actually accomplish last year?
Nothing. That field came back horrible.
So on that alone, she cannot be 3-year-old of the year.
Agreed. Not a problem. But I think there's a conversation of, is she 3-year-old of the year, or is she? Do you want to have at least include her in consideration? She has to be included in consideration.
No,
it's different. Really?
No.
Who would you replace her with then? Who on the Philly side was more impressive as a 3-year-old?
On the Philly side, nobody this year. I
respect it, Mark. I respect it. There's no other Phillies on here. The only one that you could talk about would be Malathot.
He only put her on there to get likes on Twitter from the female horse racing fans. This is bull crap.
I mean, yeah, I guess if you really wanted to reach, I guess you could say like a Bella Sophia or somebody, but none of them really belong on this list with the other 5 or 6.
All right, your beer, Mark. Talk to me about your beer, because this is not the one horse that you put on here.
I felt like we couldn't just have 3 horses on a list and make a 30-second whatever consideration. And by the way, anybody who's in the chat, if you have an opinion that we missed somebody, or you think there should be somebody we should be talking about, toss it out in chat so that we can have the conversation in here. Yeah, I mean, Yabir won be older to win one of the biggest, probably the biggest turf race in the United States in of the year. I think. And also won whatever the Belmont race was going into it as a prep, and did
Jockey Club Derby.
Jockey Club Derby. Okay, I always get confused which one's which. Won that race coming into it and ran pretty okay in the UK going into that. So I think we're probably going to be US focused because we're US players. That's what we pay the most attention to. I think both those 2 performances were pretty impressive, and we shouldn't ignore the turf division either.
See, I actually like this one, Mark. Only because at a 1.5 mile, 1.5 distances, the horse was 5 for 9 last year. That's a pretty big feat at that distance, right? So I could at least agree that the horse deserves to be on the list.
Yeah. All right, so we got 6 here. You think your beer has got a shot at top 3 in this list?
No.
Caleb, any thoughts? No,
I don't think he's top 3.
All right, now we're getting to the good stuff here, I think. All right, Flightline. Who put Flightline on here?
I think I put Flightline on there.
Caleb, talk to me about Flightline.
Yeah, so Flightline is a chance. There's a chance that I think this horse might be the best horse on that list. So I thought.
Oh, you're insane.
I'm not saying he is. I don't believe he is, but I think there's a chance he could be.
Oh, Baby Yoda.
But I think that the horse that has run, I think the fastest figure that I've seen in years in his most recent race at Santa Anita in the Malibu, I think was just a horse that you have to at least talk about a little bit. I mean, if he was healthy, or I don't know if it was a health issue or just a management issue, he just didn't get very many starts this year. And I think that's the biggest knock against him, because it's not really clear on who exactly he's beaten, and he hasn't really danced some of the big dances, but purely from a raw talent perspective, I thought this horse deserved to be considered as a nominee.
But do you think he's top 3?
No.
All right, Life. I think Caleb, you also have to talk about Life is Good, because I believe you've been on record as saying, and I quote, a generational talent.
Yes, I still believe, and the reason I said I don't believe Flightline is the fastest horse on this list is because of the presence of Life is Good. I would, probably take Flightline at a mile against her, 1.1 miles maybe against a lot of other horses on here. But I think Life is Good is just an absolute freak. I think he's easily the most talented 3-year-old horse of the entire crop this year. It's a shame of what happened to him over the summer, getting hurt. I think he would have crushed the Derby. He came back in the Pletcher barn and he really hasn't missed a step. I mean, he buried the field in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. And I'm pretty excited to see him and Nick's Go square off in the Pegasus. So I think that we'll get to see really who's who in a couple of weeks here. Or what is it, like 1 week? Is it this week or next week?
It's next week.
Week. Yeah, but
because
I think Life
same
is
week
Good
as
is a monster.
NHE.
So I'm excited for Life is Good. I'm hoping he keeps in training for his entire 4 years, but we will see.
All right, go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, Josh, I know you guys, that Life is Good Jackie's Warrior in the King's Bishop. You kind of were saying, Jackie's Warrior beat Life is Good. There's also, a conversation to be had if Mike Smith didn't forget how to ride a horse for about, 300 yards at the top of the stretch at Saratoga. That would be a very different conversation. And Life is Good could potentially be an undefeated horse. So just throwing that one out there.
All right, we're gonna keep Life is Good on here because I think there's some consideration here. Jackie's Warrior. I think Jackie's Warrior might be the odd man out here. Who put Jackie's Warrior in here? Is that you, Brian?
I don't think it was me. Was it me?
No. Well, talk to me about Jackie's Warrior, Brian.
I don't want to. I don't like it.
You don't like Jackie's Warrior?
No.
Who put Jackie's Warrior in here? Caleb, was that you again?
I think it was me. I think I put actually all of these on here now that I'm looking at. I think I was the first one to the sheet. But yeah, I mean, Jackie's Warrior, I thought he didn't show up in the Breeders' Cup, and that's the reason that he wouldn't get my vote for Horse of the Year or 3-year-old of the Year, and I'm not number one. But other than that one race, I mean, he's absolutely had a fantastic year. His 3-year-old season has been nothing short of spectacular. He's ran some crazy fast figs. He did beat Life is Good. I agree with Mark that Life is Good did not, was probably the best horse that day, but Mike Smith fell asleep at the wheel. But nevertheless, I mean, take nothing from Jackie away. I mean, he's won some excellent races this year. I mean, he's hands down proven himself to be, when he's on his game, the best sprinter and had a number of huge speed figs in some good races. The last race, the fact that he just totally no-showed is kind of what cost him a spot in the top 3 for me. If he would have maybe ran second, I'd probably be a little more likely to keep him in there. But the fact that he did totally just pack it in the Breeders' Cup on the biggest stage kind of soured me on his chances.
Dr. Shivel beat him.
Jay Davis asking if Caleb's at the Oscars right now.
The Academy Awards, actually.
Academy Awards, okay.
Pretentious.
So I guess, all right, we're gonna narrow. I don't think. Is there anybody who thinks Essential Quality or Medina Spirit aren't top 3 this year for 3-year-olds?
No.
I think they're both top 3.
And you could leave 4 up there if you want to debate the 4th one. I mean, Life is Good, I think, beats Jackie's Warrior, though, for everything Caleb just said. Jackie's Warrior lost to Aloha West. That's a disqualifier.
All right, we already got some people. We got some people putting some takes up here. We got PDT saying EQ Life is Good Jackie. So he thinks he wants to move all Life is Good there. He wants Essential Quality there. He wants Jackie's there. He wants to leave out Medina Spirit. I think it's crazy. So
he's crazy. He's crazy.
I don't think it's crazy. I like it. I like it. I don't know why. Sorry.
Go for it.
Medina Spirit didn't survive the 3-year-old year. I don't care that the horse died. Unpopular take. You can't be horse of the year if you get drugged up and almost disqualified from a race that may or may not disqualify you for cheating. Medina Spirit cannot be horse of the year, 3-year-old of the year, with that looming out there. If Kentucky would have ruled on the situation, it's a different conversation, but they haven't. They're hoping it just goes away like the horse did. So, no. Sorry.
Mark, Caleb?
I don't agree. I don't disagree with Brian's take at all here. I think Brian has a very valid point. I think Jackie's Warrior doesn't belong on the race or belong on here. After what happened, in the sprint this year, I think Jackie's Warrior's got to go. Medina Spirit probably has to be 3rd. I hate how focused we are on one race of the year, but man, I really think I hate how focused we're on the Derby, but we're still focused on the Derby. And how Josh? Nah, I would put EQ 2nd, Medina third. That would be how I'd have it, Josh. But Life is Good is clearly my 3-year-old of the year.
I mean, Medina Spirit beat Essential Quality in the Classic.
By what, ahead?
He's 2 for 2 against Essential Quality.
I mean, they crossed the wire together, and they were both geared down because the race was over.
All right, Ben
More or
Wilkie.
less.
Ben Wilkie with a last minute addition.
And if you're gonna say 2 for 2 against Essential Quality, you got to at least talk about the start. Rock Your World finished 9th in the Derby after bumping Essential Quality. Essential Quality was game and still stayed close at the end, despite the horrible start.
I also heard that some people took Rock Your World first in their fantasy draft. I don't know what they were thinking.
Who would
But
do that?
Ben Wilkie saying St. Mark's Basilica 3-year-old of the year.
I mean, he had an outstanding campaign, but I think that my logic was they had to at least run in America once to make the list.
Okay.
Yeah. We are a little U.S. focused. If we were not, he's got a very valid point.
I mean, I honestly thought Jackie's Warrior was bulletproof going into the Breeders' Cup. I mean, he was going to be. I thought he was the most likely winner on the entire weekend, and just I mean, he got Aloha West. Yeah, I was very wrong, yeah, I mean, I really thought Jackie's Warrior was as good of a bigger single than Life is Good even was. I just feel like that one bad race, when none of the other horses on this list have really ran a bad race this year, or at least not that bad of a race, kind of knocks him out for me. But
very much the same take, Josh. That's where I approach it.
Jackie needs to go.
And honestly, like I agree with Brian that like it's like one of those things, right?
Can we just kill Medina and just have a top 2?
Yes.
I mean,
Because I think,
dude, can you watch your language, please?
Stifle yourself. There's a children's award show. We're on prime time.
Yes.
I think
we're not going to use the K word here, Mark.
Yes. So I am on the record saying Life is Good is a generational talent. I completely believe that. Life is Good will be my 3rd pick among these 3 horses. He just hasn't done enough. Yeah, and he has some excuses. Sure, he was hurt. He had surgery. Okay. But he lost to Jackie's Warrior. And I know he had a lot of excuses, but at the end of the day, he lost. And that still matters. He then, beat up on like a 4-horse field at Belmont, where I think 3 of them were pulling carriages 2 weeks later. And, then he goes in the dirt mile and beats legitimately nobody. He beats Ginobili, who came back to run up the track. I think he beat Restrained Vengeance, who I'm pretty sure is a turf horse. I mean, I think he's exceptionally talented. He looked incredibly doing all of it. But when you look at his resume, and he has a discount, Walmart store brand Breeders' Cup race to his name, and then a bunch of kind of low-level prep races. And then you compare that to like Essential Quality, who has basically every race that matters as a 3-year-old, except for the Derby and the Breeders' Cup Classic. Or even Medina Spirit, who won the Kentucky Derby and ran 2nd in the Breeders' Cup Classic. I just don't think Life is Good resume stacks up.
So are you thinking this then, Caleb?
That's my vote, yes.
Mark, what are you thinking? You got that look on your face like you're judging Caleb really hard. And he's stroking his beard.
To me, Life is Good is 3-year-old of the year. I have a hard time putting anybody else there, just because there's so many asterisks over so many other horses here. I mean, I realize Life is Good ran versus probably a softer campaign, with the exception of one race. He's undefeated, and he kind of showed up and walked every walk, danced every dance. It's not his fault necessarily that not super quality horses showed up on the other side, in the gate with him.
So who do you think is number 1 then, Mark?
Life is Good.
So you think Life is Good is number 1? Brian, who do you think number 1 is?
You said Life is Good. It's not Life is Good's fault that the competition wasn't there. No, it's Pletcher's. Was Pletcher ducking with Life is Good?
No. What race? He's a miler.
I'm just asking.
I mean, I know they're talking peg. I still think you're just asking.
Just asking.
I love that. I love how aggressive you were, and then when Mark's like, "No," you're like, "I was just asking."
Well, no, it's one of those things when you look at who Life is Good beat, and Mark's saying use that as a defense. Ooh, Ginobili. Ooh, man, can't get Ginobili in a superfecta, Louisiana Downs next week. But I mean, it's no comparison in my opinion. I think Essential Quality was the 3-year-old of the year. You throw out the Derby problem with the start of Rock Your World. Horse ran game. Horse ran in every big race for the 3-year-olds last year and showed up. Won 3 of them? Breeders' Cup. Okay. Nobody even tried Breeders' Cup. So here's the argument you have. If Medina Spirit challenges Life is Good in the Breeders' Cup, like everybody was pissed off that didn't happen, Essential Quality probably runs a different race. So we can all circle back that it's all Baffert's
There's
fault.
a lot of probably,
it's all Baffert's
and
fault.
ifs, and a lot of probably, maybe. I agree with it's Baffert's fault, but there's a lot of probably and maybe and if and
Yes.
shoulda, woulda, couldas in there, and I don't have to make those with Life is Good.
No, because
Ryan
Life is Good. Life is Good ran at Belterra.
Ryan Howard.
Does that make him a bad horse?
Yes.
It's no mountain.
I've heard Belterra is covered by the horse racing jerk. I hear he likes it though. Mr. Midwest. No?
Ryan Howard saying Hot Rod Charlie, no love. We didn't talk about Hot Rod Charlie at all. I thought he was just kind of, I don't know, he was kind of the best of the rest when it came to the 3-year-olds.
I think he's that horse you're waiting to come back as a 4-year-old and see if he takes another step forward.
Yeah, what does this guy have against Belterra? It's a great track.
I'm just messing with
Jay Davis from Kentucky or from Cincinnati. How do you guys feel about this? Kayla, how do you feel about this? How's this feel?
So I think Essential Quality is kind of a clear-cut number one. I guess my question, and this is what I kind of struggled with, is, okay, so Medina Spirit had one positive test that is still in litigation or what the fuck ever. If he doesn't have that positive test, where do you rank him? Let's just say, let's still Baffert. So, I know we all hate that bastard, but if he doesn't have a positive test, where do you put Medina Spirit on this list?
I can't put Medina Spirit. I have a hard time putting Medina Spirit above Nick's Go because Medina Spirit didn't even challenge in the Breeders' Cup.
Well, Nick's Go's on a 3-year-old, so we're talking about 3-year-olds.
I know that, but there was no challenge. They conceded that horse. So that horse obviously hit its top somewhere around Santa Anita or Del Mar in August and October. That's my opinion.
I mean, I agree with you. They rode that race for second place, and I think, and I totally agree. I think you're right. But they still rode that race and outclosed a horse like Essential Quality in the Breeders' Cup. I think there's something to be said for that.
You gonna put points on there, Josh?
What do you mean points?
I
haven't.
No, I mean, I don't know if we're going to vote or how we're going to decide, Josh. But no, I would put Medina above Life is Good personally.
The only reason I have Life is Good second is because Mark has Life is Good as his horse of the year for 3-year-olds. So I feel like the rest of us kind of feeling that Medina Spirit's second, but Mark feeling that Life is Good is first, kind of defaults Life is Good to be second. Like he's got a first place vote, which I don't think anyone has got a first place vote for Medina Spirit in this case.
But are we all saying Essential Quality one is top, except for Mark?
Except for me.
Yeah, Mark is saying Life is Good is top. So I put Life is Good second.
Welcome to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
All right, Essential Quality, your 3-year-old of the year. Life is Good with a close second, and Medina Spirit finishes a tired third. May he rest in peace. And we will move on.
And Ryan Hot Rod Charlie finished 14th. 1 vote.
So Josh, before we get rolling on this category, I know we've talked about this, that Caleb moved into a new place. He's got a gorgeous abode that he moved into.
That's
and
right.
So Brian and I probably spent a little more money than we should have, but we decided that Caleb really needed a really spiffy housewarming gift. So we sent him something very nice, and we wanted him to open it on stream. So Caleb, could you do the honors and break out the package?
Yeah, I got it over here.
Wrong package.
Wrong package. Not that package.
I haven't opened it yet. I don't know if it's going to be like a 4-day starved badger or what might be in here, but I'll give it a shot here. It's pretty hefty, that's for sure. Maybe it's other broken bottle of Weller.
I mean, if it survived intact, then your local post office is improved.
That is true. I don't hear any glass rattling. And I know you can't fit Zool Alpha in here. Oh boy, now we're talking.
Okay. There's more in the package.
There's
Okay.
more in the package.
Yeah. So I mean, technically, that part was for Jess. So
She will be excited.
That was some artisanal honey from
some
Mark's
artisanal
Bee
honey out of my
Farm.
backyard.
I think I saw him throw it on the
Oh
floor
my
already.
god.
There it is.
There it is. There it is.
The Channel
Yep.
Maker Breeders' Cup hat. Oh my god.
Which is perfect.
Which is perfect. I mean, we're getting to the
there
category.
you
So
go.
there it is. So,
All right.
Caleb, I hope that lives in a really nice place. You can put it up like on your, I don't know, over your fireplace or something. Put it like frame it or something. Get a case for it. I mean, it's
Definitely.
I know how I'll know how you love the older turf division. So
May
Yes,
you
it's near and dear to my heart.
yeah, in your new house, may you chase that top TG fig for the rest of your life.
The -4 or the minus. I think it was a -2.
That was a -2, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Thank you, gentlemen.
we figured
I appreciate it.
Welcome.
that'd be a good little intro to the next category, which is the Caleb Knight Memorial Turf Horse of the Year. I'm just assuming that something unfortunate might happen to Caleb this year, so we're gonna preemptively call this a memorial. But I don't know who created all these entries, but we have Channel Maker, Channel Cat, Channel Thunder, Channel Alley, Channel Kitten, Channel Joy. I think someone made that one up. Channel Caleb, which is definitely going to be the name of the horse that we buy. Channel number 5 for some reason. Channel Desire. Channel
Channel
Flopper.
number 5, like Chanel number 5.
Oh, I thought you meant like NBC.
Nope, I was going with that perfume play.
But I don't really think any of these guys are players in this this category here. So let's just delete these here. But we have Dual Alpha's not either. Gufo Moretti. Who's putting these things? Sandler's, dude. I should have looked at these before. Marzo cross border.
You should have Google
spending.
Sheet with Mark and myself. Would you expect that to happen?
My Sister Nat, Arklow, Rock Emperor United. Caleb, where do you want to start?
Oh, on the next tab. Man, so this year we almost lacked a horse that lacked to stand out because they all sort of like similarly stunk up evenly. And I'm going to actually have a write-in on here that actually probably fits at least 2 of these categories for Japan. Because I feel like he might also fit in the money burner category for at least one of you.
Oh God, fuck Japan! God damn it.
It's 2 of us. It's both jobs.
Yeah,
clearly.
So let's take a look at some turf horses. We can talk about domestic spending because like he's the stud of the group, right? I mean, he's the horse that really failed to fail as much as the others. He did kind of get embarrassed a little bit at what was it, Arlington? Yeah, I think it was Arlington.
Yes.
By a horse that I don't even remember. 2 Emmys, was it?
2
It was
Emmys.
2 Emmys.
Yeah.
My wife had it.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's probably the best one on here, but I mean, what are we judging? I mean, Turf Memorial here. We're just picking the best turf horse or the worst turf horse, the turf horse that
We're picking the best
most?
turf horse. I feel like domestic spending, and I just tossed in Love's Only You on here. Mark, I know, came over and won a nice race in the Breeders' Cup, but then followed that up with a really nice race over in Hong Kong. So,
yeah, I mean, I think if we're talking, if we're doing this less tongue in cheek, and we're talking about the more distance-based turf horses, I think Love's Only You probably is a better horse than domestic spending. and boy, that's a terrible group of horses. But yeah, I think Love's Only You probably in my boat is above Domestic Spending. I think she had probably a better overall campaign. She also ran. What'd she win in Europe? 1 second.
I mean, she won the Hong Kong Cup, so she's a Group 1.
While you're looking that up, can we delete Arklow? Arklow didn't win since May. Arklow's got to go.
Yeah, but we did have to name basically.
No arguments here.
Yeah, we do have to also delete Cross Border because he's a synthetic horse now.
Yeah, I was going to say Love's Only You won the QE2 as well. So
probably doesn't match up with the top two, but might beat a few on the left. Any thoughts for Warlike Goddess? I mean, kind of on the Love's Only You train of thought. I know there's at least one person that occasionally watches our stream that would vote for her. Shout out Ritter Dave.
I mean, I think she ran out of her skin all year. She was obviously very, very, very talented filly. She finally got exposed in the Breeders' Cup, but I shouldn't say exposed. I mean, she ran really well. I mean, she didn't, didn't run at the track or anything. She ran her race and ran a really good one. I don't think she's as good as as a Domestic Spender or Loves Only You, but yeah, she probably deserves some consideration.
Apple and oranges here. My Sister Nat or Warlike Goddess. They race against each other like 4 times. I think Warlike Goddess gets the notch above My Sister Nat. Despite what happened at Breeders' Cup.
I also think My Sister Nat is a meme here because
that's
a fake Chad. That's a fake Chad. So
it's a fake Chad.
What did
Doesn't she have to go? Doesn't she have to go?
I said, what did Rock Emperor ended up winning? He ended up winning some race that just.
He beat Gufo in some race. I think it was a Belmont race.
Rock Emperor, yeah, the Joe Hirsch Turf at Belmont.
Oh, Joe Hirsch, yeah.
Serve the King and Rock Emperor both beat Gufo.
Yeah, Gufo was real short that day.
It's funny. All these results I keep looking at, Broom keeps popping up. I forgot about Broom. Not a horse in consideration, just one of those horses that you don't remember till you see again.
Oh yeah, look at Road Warrior. He's got it on the tip of his tongue. Joe Hirsch, I was there.
Yeah, Broom, I really liked going to the Breeders' Cup, and I thought that horse was a player. Broom is one of those horses that kind of always shows up and runs really well, and he never runs a bad race, but he just doesn't win as often. So, I think he's hard to put on top of a category like this, but definitely merits some consideration in a horse. He didn't run in the States a lot either, so.
Let's toss out some of the hopers.
Yeah. So who do you think? So I feel like Domestic Spending, Loves Only You, definitely make top 3. Anybody got argument against them being in the top 3?
Nope.
Okay. So let's start knocking out some no hopers here. Brian,
get Marzo out of there.
Marzo's gone. I think number 3 in this list is probably Gufo.
I'll move Gufo over to the right side just so we have him
Gufo
here.
above somebody like a Warlike Goddess or a Japan.
Probably over Japan, yes.
Yeah,
Warlike Goddess. It's a coin flip. Both had signature wins, both had signature disappointments, right? So what do you do with that? I mean, when you pick one, you pick the other. I'm okay with either one, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I really think it's between the top 2. So I'm not going to be a stickler on the third. I would probably give a long look to Yabir. He hasn't really done anything wrong since he came, and he won the biggest turf race in North America. I think it's got to count for something. But I do like Warlike Goddess as well. I think that she's probably not getting the respect she deserves because she ran 3rd or whatever it was against Loves Only You. But I think somebody mentioned in the chat, she didn't get a good ride that day. She moved way too early and she was way too wide. And so I think, Road Warrior, of course, Road Warrior. I would put Yabir and Warlike Goddess probably above Gufwa as much as I respect him.
So here's
I would agree.
Anybody on the let's talk through these guys on the left. And I added Very Elegant on here. I saw Ryan. Ryan was a big fan of Very Elegant. Mark, talk to me a little bit about Very Elegant.
Yeah, Very Elegant was the horse that won the big Aussie race, and my brain just stopped working. I apologize. Was it Melbourne Cup? What?
Probably.
Yeah. No fault on that horse on that race. I think the horse never ran the United States. we are a little bit more U.S. centric, and I think that's a horse that we don't pay as much attention to. So I think probably gets eliminated just on the never ran on the States, and again, not a horse is going to win an Eclipse Award, even though again, like somebody like a Frankel didn't win a Melbourne Cup. Much like a Frankel doesn't win an Eclipse Award, I think, because it's a horse that didn't really run on the States. So I think probably goes away.
I thought, and I think the next three here, Rock Emperor, United Japan, all actually had really good campaigns. I thought Japan, came in, ran some really nice races, just didn't get it done. I think, Mark, you mentioned a couple times, or maybe it was Caleb on stream, like you wish you would have seen Japan like a year or two ago here in the States versus now.
Agreed. Yeah.
But I mean, the horse ran a couple big races, didn't finish first, but ran some nice ones. United, who is Andy Sterling's favorite horse, did won his typical West Coast races, and I mean, we know what those West Coast turf horses are. So he's a nice horse. Not going to make top three here.
Coming
and
back
Rock
to
Emperor,
7-year-old.
yeah,
Did you see that? Yep.
yeah. And Rock Emperor won the Joe Hirsch, but I think he's another one of those the Chad's. Well, I don't know now with Chad's barn if he's it or what's even going on right now. But I don't like him more than any of the others that we got in the right. So let's get down and dirty. So it sounded like the first one out. People say Gufo. I saw Caleb. Caleb, you said you'd take the other three over Gufo. Brian,
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I mean, if you look at Gufo's signature wins, they are winning the the Sword Dancer, and then sort of after that it falls off a cliff for this year. He won the Sword Dancer and the Grand Coutier at Belmont, where he beat Tide of the Sea, who we kind of know who he is. After that, he was third in the Joe Hirsch. I just think that Gufo's campaign is not nearly as strong as somebody like Warlike Goddess's. Warlike Goddess won the.
Thanks for reminding me, Mark.
The Glens Falls, the Bewitch, as well. So, yeah. Wait, what? Huh? What I remind you of?
I had to add him to the money burner side.
Oh,
the amount of times I was like, "Oh, Tide of the Sea's lone speed here. Send it in."
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Warlike Goddess's campaign, it was just many more wins, many more graded wins. I think Gufo had that one great race, but that was it. And I think he probably at this point in his career, that's what he's gotten to, where he's going to get you one nice win a year, and that's his game.
Let me ask you a question. Since Golden Pal's still in the list, do you downgrade a 5.5 furlong specialist in something like this? Personally, I do.
I do as well. It's the same thing with the classic, the dirt, though. I mean, I won't give a 3-year-old or horse of the year to a sprinter unless the routers all kind of stink and there's a standout sprinter.
Yeah, I do as well. I shouldn't, but I think that turf sprint division, we've seen certain times when a horse that won a optional 50 last out pops up and wins a G1 next out, or whatever. I guess there's not a lot of G1 turf sprints, but a G2 or a G3. Those crazy things happen. What was it, Pimlico weekend? I think when that happened and blew everybody's tickets up. I think that division is softer and it's much more calamity filled, and so you get sort of a lot of outliers. I think Golden Pal is a very talented horse, but I would tend to move that down. Yes.
Delete.
How do you feel about that?
I would put Warlike Goddess over Ybir. Just on number of races raced domestically. I think again, we are predominantly a U.S.-based show. We talk U.S. racing. I think Warlike Goddess has more races than the States, and those are at a higher caliber than what Ybir's one race in the States, where he did what he should do. But
he ran here 3 times. It's just 2, right? Didn't he win? He won the Jockey Club Derby, then the Breeders' Cup.
Yep.
I thought there was one more. Maybe it was just twice.
It was those 2.
Question:
you have a good point, though.
Is it Yabir or Ybir? I'm confused.
You choose.
Just say it real quickly and kind of mumble it because nobody really knows.
I prefer it with a Jamaican accent, the yabir, whatever, however you said it earlier.
I'm good with the list the way it is. If you wanted to put Warlike Goddess in third, I'd be fine with that too.
Agreed.
We might be over respecting Love's Only You a little bit, but the way that the domestic spending campaign finished out, it doesn't leave you with the warm fuzzy feelings necessarily. I mean, he sort of he didn't no show, but he couldn't get it done against a horse that ain't that good, and then he just didn't show up for the half a year. So I think Love's Only You, even though she only has the one race here, it was a damn good race. And then she backed that up with the Hong Kong form.
Yeah, Mr. Keep Pounding himself, Stuart Guthrie, saying Warlike Goddess ran against the Leparoo bias every time too.
Again, that is a valid point. Maybe we should move Warlike Goddess up on that.
112-pound man is not convinced that 1,200 pounds.
Here we go.
But boy, that 112-pound man can do some really freaking stupid things.
I don't want to know the title to your Tinder profile, but no.
Like the nice thing is like whoever we leave as third, like it doesn't really fucking matter. But I know Writer Dave will appreciate that we got Warlike Goddess in third, and we love Writer Dave. How's this order look? And now, mind you, the reason, like, I understand Love's Only You ran only one race here in the U.S. and but has backed up the form overseas before she came and after she came. And I understand we're American centric, but once these horses usually run once or twice in the U.S., everyone knows about them. Everyone's looking for them to run. And when I saw Love's Only You was running in Hong Kong, I mean, heck, I think I jumped on a call with a Twitter space with Caitlin Freed when Love's Only You was running, and everyone was geeked out to see Love's Only You run again. So I like this order. Any objections here to this one?
Oh, the only thing I want to say about domestic spending is everybody loves domestic spending because it's the U.S. horse, but domestic spending ran 4 times last year and was 2 for 4. So, I mean, we can downplay how many times Love's Only You ran in the U.S., right? Who cares? Domestic spending couldn't dominate in 4 starts all year long.
That's all I'd have it, Josh, right how you have it right now.
No one remembers who ran second in the Derby, right? No one's going to remember who ran second in the On the Wrong Lead Awards in 2021. So
they're not going to remember who ran first.
Shout out Ryder Dave.
The horse that ran second in the Derby is running this weekend, by the way.
So
you know who's not running this weekend? The horse that won the Derby.
This is true.
Too soon.
Yeah, it's way too soon for that.
See, I went there on accident, and Brian went there intentionally.
Yeah. So congratulations to Love's Only You as our the Caleb Knight Memorial Turf Horse of the Year. Second place to Warlike Goddess. Third place to Domestic Spending. Ben Wilkie, I missed this, Ben. He thought State of Rest deserved some love. Mark, talk a little about State of Rest here.
State of Rest? Oh, which horse is State of Rest? Oh, you're killing me, Josh.
I didn't know who it was. That's why I smartly was like, Mark, why don't you talk about this horse?
Wasn't that the other O'Brien horse? The one he won the Belmont race, I think.
Oh, State of Rest is the horse.
Oh, didn't he win the Belmont? Yeah. Didn't he win the Everest?
Yeah, that's the horse that won the
Saratoga Derby,
and then the Cox Plate.
Yeah.
Oh, the Cox Plate. That's what he won, not the Everest. The Cox
He
Plate.
beat another Josh horse.
Yeah.
Du jour.
Oh, he beat Du jour. Yeah, hold on. Since we're over here.
Du jour.
No.
It was so funny because anybody who's watching this, we did this like production meeting, and none of us could come up with Josh horses. We're all like, we're trying to come up with this list of Josh horses for the hardest time. And now that we're on stream, they're just flowing now.
No, the thing is that everyone knows what horse is winning this next category. It's just no one could figure out what could come second or third.
Yeah, what other horses should be contained in the horse category?
I mean, I think we just leave it like this.
Done.
Even got 4th and 5th too.
All right. So we're getting into some of the more fun ones. This is not really objective here, because everyone. I mean, it depends on everybody, right? Everyone's got a different money burner horse, a horse that they've chased for a while. Unfortunately for me, I pulled a Sesums, a combatant, and the one time I don't bet Jakarta, she booms at 18-1. And the funny thing is I believe I told Brian, like, this is the worst part, right? Is Brian was like, hey, Jakarta's running. And I'm like, no, I can't do it. Like I can't bet Jakarta anymore. Like I'm done. Like we're over. And then 0 minutes to post, I see she's 18-1. And then that song, that baby come back, starts playing in my head, and I get in there and I try to bet that horse to win, and I got locked out, only for me to watch Jakarta win at 18-1.
See, you went with that song. I was gonna go with the Sarah McLachlan for like the Dead Puppy song.
What I will remember you. Oh,
you.
Man, but yeah, it was oh shit. Stephen Fox, much like in the BC Tarnawa, doesn't get a call.
I thought there was something back, Steven.
Yeah, that hurt. I felt that like tears in a row. Ugh.
Yeah. Stuart, look at. I mean, they're just piling on. Jakarta paid $38.60 and looked like an even money shot that day at Parks.
I mean, if your hero is running at Parks on a Tuesday, don't you have to bet on a premise alone?
Well,
I mean,
let's
Josh
talk
bet for less. So
let's talk about a couple of these horses. Mexican Wonder Boy.
the horse that hurt Josh twice in a 1 week period.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. Like I got hit with the up down, right? Like I got hit on the way up and on the way down, because Mexican Wonder Boy was my single and then got scratched in one of those sequences, and then he came back to run like a week later, and no joke, like I've texted with Caleb's dad a couple times. But I think it's the first time that Caleb's dad actually reached out to me without me like texting him. And he texts me. He's like, Mexican Wonder Boy's running. He's like, send it in. And I mean, that's all I needed. And I sent it in. And I'm still waiting for it to come back. Yeah.
Is he finished yet?
I don't think so. And like, of course, like Linda's barn is just ice cold. And oh my God. All right, but anyways, Mexican Wonder Boy, because I've only lost money on Mexican Wonder Boy once this year, is not going to make the list. Overboard.
If you're just
if you guys haven't
right now,
the thing is if you guys haven't like watched our streams or listened to our podcast, you wouldn't know maybe all the story about Overboard, but Caleb and I are at Saratoga. And Caleb's dad's friend comes up, and he's like, "Man," he's like, "There's this Wesley Ward horse. Like, I know is supposed to run at Saratoga." He's like, "But he's not. I'm kind of bummed I'm not going to see him." And we're like, "Oh," like he was like pumping this horse up. He's like, "Well, which horse?" He's like, "Oh, this horse named Overboard." And like Caleb and I are like, "Well, sure enough, that horse is running today." The entire day, dude, the whole table is just freaking waiting for Overboard to run. I mean, I think all of us had it singled in some way. I think Caleb had like a $20 like grand slam through Overboard. It was the craziest thing, dude. Everybody was all over Overboard, and the entire like not only did one person lose money, the entire table lost money. It was like 5 of us lost a significant amount of money when Overboard ran that day, and only for Overboard to run again. I don't even remember where, but I think I texted the friend's son, and the horse didn't run a step again. So
finished
that
second.
That one hurt kind of twice.
Second at Keeneland.
Yeah, it might have been Keeneland. Were we there for the Keeneland too? No, we weren't.
I
Were
hope
we, Caleb?
not. I don't think
I
we were.
I thought you were. There's the 22nd.
Oh
were you
God,
there?
We were there for the 22nd.
We were there.
Yeah,
we were there. We were there for the 2 losses. God.
I think Overboard just won.
Oh, man,
Overboard.
All right, so let's bring it. Let's get someone else in here. Who else got hurt here? Someone else, please. Mark, who hurt you?
Japan hurt me, but this is I bet Japan every time he runs because I have a soft spot for Japan. Yeah.
Caleb, do you remember Japan? He ran like third or something, I think. In was it the Sword Dancer? It was one of the big Saratoga races, and he ran into trouble.
I think he's ever.
Was it Saratoga or was it
Yeah,
Belt?
Saratoga.
I mean, I remember you know, this was when you were doing a lot of replay work, and you were talking about, oh, like he got into all this trouble. He should have beat Gufo. Like he was closing late. It's like he had that race, and I was never on the Japan train, so that one didn't cost me anything. But I know you and Mark both.
Oh yeah, dude,
chased
I was
that
all
horse
over
for
it.
like a year.
You're right. He did right. He ran second on the Sword Dancer. You are right. To Gufwa.
Yeah, I was all over. Dude, I had Japan all over the place. I had him single, or I didn't have him single, but I had him as an A in a lot of my stuff, and yeah, that one hurt. I'm gonna move Japan over to the right because he hurt both me and Mark. Caleb, you got to have a money burner in here. Who's your money burner this year?
You know, for me, it would probably have to be Mo Forza. And it's only because I fell for this horse twice over a 2-year span, like in the exact same like set of circumstances where he kind of crushes these California turf horses and looks dominant. He never looks like he's going to get there, but he always somehow gets there. I mean, he beat Smooth Like Straight a couple times. He was a nice horse. And then I finally just think it's Peter Miller, so I'm always kind of skeptical. And last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago now, I finally trusted him, and I singled. No, I didn't single, but I used a lot of Mo Forza in the Pegasus Turf like 2 years ago, and he just doesn't run a step. I mean, he runs like last. Then he disappears. He comes back, and I bet against him in his first start off the layoff. He wins. He looks good again. Does the exact same thing. Tricks me again in the Breeders' Cup Turf, and once again doesn't run a step. So he's cost me twice over 2 years. He's probably my money burner of the year. Not number one, but he'd be the one that cost me personally the most.
Because I just want to hurt you. What about Pillar Mountain?
I think he's still trying to finish one of those races from the summer.
Brian, did you put anybody on here?
I didn't, but I just thought about the one horse that hurt me the most last year.
Who's that?
Tacitus.
Tacitus?
Did he even run last year?
Saudi Cup.
He did.
Oh.
Saudi. Yeah.
I had to go way back. I was trying to remember who screwed up. Yeah, I was all hyped up on that horse. I think Dynasty Picks was big on that horse or something. That really convinced me that horse was going to be the runner that day. Boy, was that dumb.
Dude, I already forgot who won the Saudi Cup.
It was
Next go.
no, it was the
Mr. Sharif. Miss Sharif.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, who won the other race then? The UAE one. It was who's the horse, Caleb? Who I was like, this is the best American older
You mean
horse.
Dubai World Cup or UAE is the Derby?
Jack Christopher.
Yeah. No, but I was like, this is the best dirt horse going, and like he's like retired or he hasn't been seen in like 3. Mystic Guide, dude. Oh my god, dude, I had him in that his comeback race. I was like, dude, because it was Mystic Guide, it was Happy Saver, it was a small field. And I was like, dude, like you guys are idiots. Like, how are you going to bet against Mystic Guide in this spot? Like, who cares? And I think Happy Saver ended up winning that race. And then legitimately after that happened, I'm like, dude, Happy Saver is the real deal. Like, what are you guys betting against Happy Saver? And then Happy Saver lost. So I got comboed with Mystic Guide and Happy Saver because one beat the other, and then they both lost. But man,
you make me think of horses that I really like that screwed us up. You guys remember Caddo River?
Oh,
Caddo River.
Just had to bring that one up.
Yeah. Oh, worst of all, Max Players won that race. Was that the one he beat Happy Saver? Oh, he beat Happy Saver and Mystic Guide, right?
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker. Oh.
Why is Slots? I'm sure it's supposed to be Slots Lady. Why is she on here?
I don't even know why she's on here.
Okay, cool.
What, have you donated money to her?
I don't know either.
I have not. No,
I don't know. Someone put it on there. So, Dunbar Road. Sixers saying it was Dunbar Road for him this year. He still believed.
If you were on her in the Breeders' Cup, I legit feel sorry for you because you had one of the worst like that. Oh man, brutal.
That was my worst beat of the year, like by 100 miles. I had everything going through Dunbar Road that day, and that crushed my soul.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the time I bet her all year, so like, I don't know that she fits the list because that's the only time I bet her. But that's definitely my worst beat.
Oh,
See, this category is not going to have a clear-cut winner.
I mean, this is going to have a clear-cut winner. It's going to be
Yeah,
Jakarta.
the
because
winner's
I don't
on
think-
top. It's Jakarta. I mean, we knew this before the category was really created to put Jakarta on top, but
Yeah, but
I mean, like there's a ton of money burners for me. Happy Saver. There's someone brought up Mystic Guide, obviously. Oh, and Ben. Yeah, he's working again. Yeah.
if Jakarta's going to win, then Josh has to jump off stream because she only wins when he's not here.
Anybody want to talk about any of these other horses on here before we move on?
not Tacitus this year. I mean, nice.
No.
That horse didn't live a step. No, there's no one on there. I think actually how you have it. I mean, you can argue between Japan and Mo Forza, but I think how you have it right now.
I think that's a good top three.
I think it's a good top three.
Dude, I mean, I believed so hard in Japan. I was just like so many ways, and I know it's not just me, but Mark also lost money on Japan. Overbore, the entire table lost, and then
the
I
entire
lost
table
again.
lost again.
Yeah, and then Jakarta, I probably have lost more on Jakarta than the entire table combined. I mean,
The proverbial she's due. You got to keep betting it.
Well, congratulations, Jakarta, as the Cherry Drank Money Burner special of the year. But let's move on to some more fun categories here. We have the Brian Duransky biggest surprise of the year, and we got a lot of them on here. Gulfstream Spark installs Cepeda. Santa Anita returns to the downhill. Bob Baffert litigation. Swifty banned from Twitter. DeRosa leaving CDI for HR. And Linda Rice everlasting appeal. Knicks go easy classic win. The death of Medina Spirit. Navarro sentencing. Still no decision on Medina Derby DQ. Breeders' Cup Philly and Mare Distaff winner. Run Happy second crop performance.
You're right.
Off the turf at Indiana Grand. Torquator Tasso winning the Arc. Godolphin's 2021 dominance and Horseshoe Indianapolis. First of all, we're gonna move Horseshoe Indianapolis off here. I know, Mark, you said that.
Really?
Yeah, what's gonna be the dude?
Yeah.
Yes, it was a surprise.
Okay.
Like Mark is surprised because Indiana Grand just got renamed like a couple years ago. Now they're gonna be renamed to Horseshoe. They got bought by Caesars. Caesars owns a Horseshoe brand, so I think they just want to bring it back.
Also, for the sake of surprise, on the turf at Indiana Grand would have been better, Mark, but you put it off the turf.
That was not me. First,
That was actually me.
Yeah, see. I mean, you can accuse me of being Caleb all you want.
So,
I'm okay with
in case you guys don't know, when Indiana Grand is running, I get random messages from Mark. Is it raining in Shelbyville?
This is true. I do this because it's the most biased track on the face of the planet when it's raining. It's like a legit easy mode. It's unfairly biased.
All right, so
go ahead, Brian.
So the Navarro sentencing, I don't think was a surprise to anybody. We knew it was coming. I think the length might surprise people, but it was all made sense, right? The Medina Derby DQ, I'm actually not surprised by it. I figured it'd take 3 years for them to come to a solution if they ever come to it. Anybody disagree?
I think we're going to talk about this in a later category, so I'm agreed getting rid of that one.
All right.
I think Torquator Tasso has to come off there because Caleb was on that horse. If I had done a little more capping, I would have
Fuck, if Caleb had the horse, then.
Well, I mean, it was obviously easy to get to. No, I mean, it was
Mark's like Thorograph. It's easy after the race.
Yeah, exactly.
I hand out 70 to 1s like free candy.
I mean, it was a bog that day. I think everybody knew that there was outlier potential. Was it a surprise? Sure. It wasn't one of the logical players, but it was a horse that had handled it really off going and been in good form as of late. It wasn't a crazy surprise. Yeah, the odds were, but that's just because people were betting like it was a dry, fast track.
I loved it. There was like this, like I forgot who it was. There was an analyst that posted that she liked the horse, and I love when that kind of stuff happens, right? Like someone takes a stab, likes a horse, and I just saw her whole feed just got bombarded with, oh my god, thank you, thank you so much. So
it's funny you say take a stab, Josh, because next weekend NHC's in Vegas.
Yeah, we'll be taking some stabs there, and also hopefully we don't get stabbed at Bally. So, but yeah, off the turf at Indiana Grand, no one is surprised about the turf situation at Indiana because the weather in Indiana is just awful. I don't know who would want to live there. Um, Run happy second crop performance.
Yeah,
How you
I
guys
threw
feel
that
about
up
this one?
there. I don't think it can compete with some of the big hitters on this list, but his first crap was awful, and I said crap intentionally. They were bad. Whereas second crop, I mean, he's got the anyway, favorite for the Derby. They're leading by earnings. All of a sudden, I mean, they've really turned it around. So I think that was a big surprise considering they dumped infinite money into his advertising and didn't look like it was going to pan out. But he's definitely improved this year, so I was surprised to see that.
Ben Wilkie had a really good one.
Yeah, he just did that. That one
That is a
is
good one.
He
that's
said
a really good
RSJ
one.
and Ass Man breaking up was a surprise. Dude, I'll be honest. The other day I liked the horse Ricky was on, and there's an Asmussen horse there with I think Vasquez, who was the favorite, and Ricky just outrode Vasquez at Oak Lawn on a nice price. So this one actually is very surprising to me. I know Ricky went cold for a bit, but Asmussen also went cold. It was basically after he won the record. He got the record, and I think Caleb, you might have mentioned, or maybe Mark, talking about, hey, like he just threw everything he had early in that Saratoga meet to just get his numbers up and to hit that record at Saratoga, and then like that was it. Like he just threw everything at the wall up front, and he kind of paid the price a little bit later during the year for it. I don't think so much of it was RSJ's fault, but yeah, that one was pretty surprising to me. I mean, he's been first call for Asmussen for as long as I've been following horse racing, so at least a couple years. So that one was really surprising. That's a good one.
I'll honestly say though, he did fall off a cliff because it wasn't just Assman he wasn't riding well for. He was not riding well for anyone in that period of time. So I don't even. I mean, we have the RSJ Assman breakup. Yeah, that is surprising. But I think also just RSJ's absolute proverbial jumping off a cliff as a jockey. He's been horrible. He went from being a jock that, especially at smaller tracks, whether he was in an Oak Lawn or he was riding some of the smaller Midwestern circuits, he would be like a 25 or 30% jock. All of a sudden now he's like a 2% jock. He absolute cliff. He fell off. He went through Saratoga, and after Saratoga just was off a cliff.
Yeah, I'm going to leave this one. I'm going to leave this one up here for now because I kind of like this one. I think this one stays a little bit. Brian, you were saying something. Sorry.
He reminded me of my favorite Gulfstream jockey. He went 0 for 92. I didn't realize Santana hit 92 before he won.
Wow.
But it wasn't that like at Gulfstream. It wasn't 0 for like. It was
0 for the heat.
Well, yes. I mean, he won one on the last.
Hold on,
but
no, he didn't. Did he win one or did he get? Yeah, he did
win
one
on the
right?
last day. Yeah,
and then he posted like a LeBron tweet or something, didn't he? Like what was it? That like real inspirational.
I'm not sure. I believe I'm blocked.
I'm gonna just for reasons that you kind of already mentioned, Brian. I'm gonna take her off the Linda Rice Everlasting Appeal.
Yep.
Only because that is so typical horse racing. Like, is anybody really surprised that Linda Rice is still not serving her suspension?
So I mean, agreed. On the list we have here, the Medina Spirit death, considering the disqualification or the tainted drug sample, doesn't surprise me. I've said for years, I think that's. Never mind. I'll leave that off for a different topic.
I honestly thought the Medina Spirit death was literally the most surprising thing that happened this year. Like, it stopped horse racing Twitter, which, I mean, outside of Rachel calling us all D-bags, I mean, is really hard to do. So, I mean, I don't know. I thought that was the most, that's definitely on this list, top 5, if not the most surprising thing here.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. You say it's top 5, maybe the winner. A Baffert horse dies from a heart attack on track. Does that really surprise you, considering the allegations he's had for the last 3 years?
Dude, not even the allegations. Look at his history. He's the highest breakdown rate on the in the freaking country, or one of the highest breakdown rates in the country of any trainer. So, and everybody tries to that's add little asterisks next to it. No, he is, and that's not a surprise. This is
And
Bob Baffert's barn.
if Bob Baffert's last name is Hollendorfer, he'd be sitting at Remington Park right now.
Yep. Or wouldn't be able to get barns at wherever he was trying to stable horses at.
Caleb's
I still
like,
thought it was a surprise, Josh. I'm with you. I mean, I know
it's a Derby
Baffert's-
winner.
I mean, he's a Derby winner. Yeah, that's always a sudden death by a Derby winner in a non-racing, heart attack. Basically, that's a surprise.
It's the most surprising death since probably Battle of Midway.
So I was gonna say 8 bells, but
I mean, yeah, 8 bells was a surprise, but I mean, just thinking like recent history. I mean, when Battle of Midway, broke down at Santa Anita, like that was what everyone's like, oh, maybe there is a problem, like such a classy horse like this, breaks down. Like, I mean, that was another shit show because of him going to stud and being infertile and coming back and all that other stuff. But still, I don't know. I think I'm gonna keep the Medina Spirit thing here.
So if I give you my top 3 to make it quick, so we move along.
Yeah, what are your top 3? What do you got?
I had DeRosa as the top for me. That surprised me. I never thought DeRosa would leave Churchill Downs. He was the face of Churchill Downs on simulcast, at the track, at all their properties. That's a surprise to me. Second, for me, was Santa Anita returning to the downhill. I did not think the PETA specialists would let them come back to that track, and I thought the scared Stronach people would avoid coming back to the downhill. Just for the simple fact of they blamed horse deaths on that. And then third, you want to go with third? I'll give you Medina Spirit third just because it's a Kentucky Derby winner, but that's no surprise.
Caleb, what did you put on here? Is there anything here that you think we should talk about?
Yeah, it's funny because I think the top 2 Brian mentioned were the 2 that I would throw out quickest. Ed's a good guy. I like Ed, but if we're talking the impact here, I mean, the impact of Ed leaving CDI for HRN versus Medina Spirit dying.
I thought it was surprise, not impact.
I mean, yeah, but part of the surprise is the impact that it has. I mean, so to me, that just feels like it's not in the right scale to really fit up there.
So then what impact does a dead horse have right now? Because nothing's happened to Baffert since the horse died.
Well, I mean, it still has an impact when the Kentucky Derby winner dies. I mean, off the track.
The sanctions we're seeing from it,
but
saying.
Sack isn't betting anymore now.
She's too busy
making sandwiches.
Yeah.
My top 3 would probably be. I would probably keep Medina at the top, kind of where you have it, Josh. I would put Gulfstream and Sterling Tapita up there. I don't know if it got announced last year or the year before, but I just never thought Tapita was ever going to be installed on a track that didn't already have Tapita ever again.
They installed it or announced it in February. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. So it technically makes the cut. That just totally blindsided me. Like I thought it was like a troll when I first read it. And then I guess that my third one would probably be maybe the Distaff winner, I guess. I mean, just that horse, she was like 50-something to 1, Japanese horse. Nobody gave her a shot. And it's also personal to me because she beat Dunbar Road, who I had in that brutal photo. But that's probably where I would go. But the Asmussen RSJ one would be maybe a co-third pick for me. They're pretty close.
Mark, anything on the right-hand side you want to talk, or anything that's on the left-hand side that you want to talk about still?
No, honestly, no. I think that they go other places. I think the kind of 5 that we have on the right makes some sense. I think Roadrunner makes a point in chat about the Modern Games fiasco, but I don't know if that's necessarily a surprise. Like, we know that scratch rules and stupid shenanigans and that kind of stuff happens, and it should be a surprise, but it's just really not. So I think that the 5 we have on there are pretty solid.
Do.
I got no good opinions here. I don't have a top here. I think any of the 5 you could throw on top, and they would be probably equally as good. I mean,
I kind of want to throw out the Distaff winner one just because we already threw out the ARC winner one for similar reasons. Kind of like, hey, it was a long shot that won a race. Like, it was a big stage, but
I also think if you look at the pace in that race, they went crazy fractions early. The fact that it fell apart, and a horse who probably shouldn't have been good enough on any other terms won probably isn't a surprise. So yeah, I agree with you, Josh.
Hey, you probably had that winner if you look at the thoroughgraphs after the race.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah.
And then once again we all love Ed. Him leaving CDI, it was a surprise to me because I mean I didn't know that he would ever leave. So I agree with you. But to Caleb's point, I mean Gulfstream and starting to PETA and Santa Anita returning to the downhill, like those are two things I would have never thought would have happened this year. So I don't know. I kind of feel like I like these three. I mean, we could fight. Does anybody?
I think you have number 1 right, Josh. 2 and 3, I think you can coin flip between the two. I think they're equal, but I think you probably have it right.
I think it's the right top 3, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm right. I don't know. Like second and third, basically. I agree with you, Brian. After they stopped racing on downhill, I never thought they would come back.
See, that's out of these three, that's probably my number one, just because, I mean, a caught cheater, drug user on horse having a heart attack after a workout doesn't surprise me. I hate to say it. And we're not going to see reform from it. If we had, we would have seen some kind of thing already. So it's not going to impact the game. It's not going to do anything but piss off the bettors. So shut up and take your money.
Shut up and bet.
Dennis showing up saying Flightline coming out of nowhere. I think Flightline disappearing as well for for as long, but I think this is kind of the game now.
But did Flightline come out of nowhere? I mean, didn't they? I think that horse was like, it was one of those everybody knew maidens who went off at 1-9 or something crazy and ran like it should. And like,
I think he sold for like $1.5 million or something.
He sold for big money too. I thought he sold for big money. I didn't know the price, but I don't think anybody's surprised there. I mean, yeah, it's an impressive rise to quote unquote stardom. Of course, hasn't beat anybody yet, but yeah, agreed.
All right. Well, yeah, the Medina Spirit death was the biggest surprise of racing for us this year. Santa Anita returning to the downhill and Gulfstream installing to PETA second and third.
See, there's half the problem. Look at that. The downhill ban was Hollendorfer's fault, but Baffert gets a free pass.
Well, because he doesn't run down the hill.
Correct.
Maybe DeJour will go down the hill, though. Who knows?
Jakarta. I bet Jakarta would be great down the hill.
Well, isn't DeJour back in the Mott Barn?
I think he is.
Again?
Yeah.
I think
he
I saw
went from the Mott Barn back to Baffert. Now he's going back to Mott.
Let me know when DeJour's in that.
They don't run a lot of real turf races on the left coast, so had to go back to the Mott Barn to get to the real ones.
Is he going to Keeneland?
It was my understanding that they're probably pointing Keeneland Spring.
Oh, look, Rushing Fall got a mention. There's a name I haven't heard for 3 years. I could have done without. Sweet Sassy.
Didn't she retire like, I don't know, pre-COVID?
I don't know. She was a beta. Thank
All
you,
right.
Mark.
I thought about it, and then I gave you the weird look.
Let's move on. Philly and Mare of the Year. We got Latruska, Love's Only You, Gamine, Clairiere, Santa Barbara, Malathot, CC, and Bell's the One.
I mean, it's Latruska's category, right? Like I don't understand how you put anybody in front of Latruska.
Hey, so I'm gonna make it quick here. You made Love's Only You as the top 3-year-old, didn't you?
Turf Horse of the Year.
Turf Horse. So by default, probably wins this category, in my opinion. Sorry.
Love's Only You over Latruska?
Yep.
Really?
Any horse has to go to Parks to get a win.
Caleb, what are your thoughts?
I think Latruska wins this in a landslide. I don't think it's close. Love's Only You probably run second, and I think third place is the only one that's really interesting. I don't know how much time I want to spend debating third place. For me, it would actually be Santa Barbara. I think she's probably the horse that had the highest ceiling. That unfortunately she died over the summer, I believe, and we never got to see how good she may have ultimately been in the back half of her 3-year-old season. But she's one that I would probably give a glance to that won't get mentioned elsewhere. Warlike Goddess is another good one. I think she makes sense too.
Mark, what are your thoughts?
I have no real changes over that. I mean, As Derby / Oaks focused as horse racing tends to be, there's an argument to be made that Malthot should be over as well. But I mean, I think Latruska is clearly number one. I don't really. I think the gap between number one and everyone else is so big that it doesn't really matter who you move over to the right there, Josh. I think it's Latruska wins, and then whoever you want underneath. There's a lot of horses that had great campaigns who had some great wins, but the gap between Latruska and everybody else is just an absolute chasm.
I think we have to at least talk about Gamine, right?
No.
Do we?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it. I mean,
No.
we didn't mention Gamine anywhere else. I mean, I don't know. She just had this slow regression, right? The slow regression over the rest of the year, and finally, I mean, she got at the Breeders' Cup.
Yep.
I have a hard time saying it was a regression, though. I mean, she won 5 in a row, right? I mean, sure, it was a grade 2 at Los Al, and the Derby City was what she beat Wisconsin, okay. But was it really so much a regression as much as it was the other ones got better? Gamine topped out as a early 3-year-old kind of thing, or 4-year-old, I mean. And then her 5-year-old campaign was just against Wisconsin. Like, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, there's something to be said where Belle's the One was one of the best female sprinters, and she dodged Gamine. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that's what the division is. I mean, Wisconsin, Bell's the One. Like Edgeway. I mean, that is the division. CC, I guess. I mean, I don't really like Gamine just because of the whole Baffert angle personally. But the horse was undefeated around one turn over like 2 years going into this race. She was like 10 for 10. And she had one race that she just didn't show up with her best and got beat running third, which is the same thing you could say for Latruska, except she ran like last, and I think Latruska wins this by a landslide. I do. But it's hard to use that argument and excuse Latruska's one bad race in the Breeders' Cup based on her previous body of work and not even at least give Gamine a look, considering her body of work was just as impressive, albeit in a weaker division.
Yeah, I would say my bigger thing is that Gamine's in a much weaker division, right? Like Latruska was running versus everybody, and Gamine's just in a weaker division. So don't you have to move down some of Gamine's performances in the who did she beat category?
I think you do, and that's why I don't think she should win, but she probably deserves a mention.
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of the same thing, right? Like it's the hierarchy of American racing, right? It's dirt routes, and then it's probably turf routes nowadays, and then it's dirt sprints, and then turf sprints at the bottom. So, I mean, she's running in the essentially quote unquote third division, right? I mean, like, yeah, if she wins that race and has that dominant year, I think she's got something to talk about here. But I just think that with the slightly weaker division, that kind of knocks her out. And like I said, like with all the other controversy going around, I think that there's more fitting winners. Clairiere, ran in a bunch of races this year. She was, second best 3-year-old this year, I think. CC had a couple of really nice races. Belle's the One as well. But I think we can toss these 4 here and kind of go here. I think Latruska and Love's Only You 1 and 2. I think I'm feeling Warlike Goddess in 3rd here, but I don't know what you guys think.
I think that's actually the right top 3. I don't really like Malthot. We talked about how bad the Oaks was. She can be above Santa Barbara, but I don't think she should be 3rd.
I would agree. I think Malthot is one of those horses that you have to have in consideration off the Oaks win. But I was never impressed with her going into the Oaks, and I wasn't impressed with her after. She hurt me in the Oaks because she killed everything because I tried to get around her. But yeah, I would agree. I think we probably have it right there with how I would want it. I would probably put Santa Barbara above Malthot.
Hey, Dennis doesn't want to argue, but I want to argue with Dennis. Can I argue with Dennis?
Go for it.
Go at it. You can. Yeah.
Distances and surface matter so much because you get weaker competition, right? That's why I look at it, in my opinion. If you're going to say it doesn't matter, you just want the best 4-year-old filly or 3-year-old filly. Part of that is looking at the body of work. The sprint division gets X, and the dirt routers get Y, and you want to compare and contrast. And it's not an apples to apples comparison. If you're going to say this horse is great at 5.5 furlongs, but this one's great at 1.125 miles, which one do you want? There's a lot of argument there for I want the speed horse or I want the horse that can last. So, it's an interesting argument, but it's one of those that I think is so subjective. You'll never have an agreement among 5 people. So I just wanted to argue with him.
Yeah. Sixer saying he doesn't get the Warlike Goddess love, 1 G1 win. I just think consistency. I mean, she beat G1 horses, even though they weren't G1s, I think. So that was kind of where I landed. Once again, we could sit here and argue for a while, like who should really be third. I feel pretty good with this order. Any objections here, really? Mark has got an objection. Go for it, Mark.
No, I have no objection. I would say Road Warrior just brought up a point. Again, you can make an argument with Warlike Goddess that she was in somewhat of a suspect division. That is not the deepest of divisions. He's got a valid point there, but I think you can also make that argument over any of the 3 of the top 3 that we have here. So, yeah, I think we probably have it right. I could think you could argue between Warlike Goddess and Loves Only You as 2 and 3, but I think Latruska wins. I think we have it right in principle.
Now I'm actually a little worried right now. Mark, Caleb, have you gotten bourbon yet?
No, I haven't.
Well, we're going to overtime here, so I'm actually a little surprised here.
We're gonna have to be careful with overtime.
Yeah, congratulations to Latruska here, the winner of the Affiliate Mare of the year. Loves Only You in second. Warlike Goddess rounds out the trifecta.
She dared the devil from Stuart Guthrie.
Yep.
We didn't talk about her, and that's she has to be in there somewhere.
Third, I wouldn't hate it.
She sort of disappeared towards the end of the year, and I think we all sort of forgot about her. And again, recency, sticks in your mind. He's got a very valid point that, or even second, Josh. He's got a very valid point there with her. I know Brian was very right on one of our streams, loving her. Going into, I don't remember what it was, but I know he was all about her in one race.
I think that was the Locust when you guys all liked Envoutante.
Yes, Envoutante. Yes, we were all about Envoutante. The horse that, and Josh, add that one to the horse list that owes me money. The with them.
Yeah, Stuart Guthrie also saying she ran huge in the BC, held on best of all the forwardly placed horses.
He's very right. Yeah, we just missed her. That we just a horse.
All right. Well, we'll slide her in here at third then, over Warlike Goddess. So she dares the devil, our new third place winner here. The El Capitan, hottest mess. Mark, we know what like a hot mess your dating life is, so we figured, hey, let's get the hot mess of horse racing here. The media leg humping Baffert, the BC Sprint, Rachel McLaughlin, D-Bags.
Hey, that was this year.
What?
D-Bags.
Oh, that was this year.
It was. That is.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rachel. We'll talk about you next year.
If
we won't remember it. We won't remember it.
The Medina Spirit Saga. I just kind of put that in as general. Arlington Closure. Joe Sharp litigation. The Ramsey lawsuit. Monmouth Park Buzzer. Modern Games Scratch Fiasco. Naira coupled entries for married couples. How about the IG buzzer situation as well?
20-year ban. Or ban.
20-year ban. The leading quarter horse jockey apparently was leading for a reason.
Indiana did it right with that. I absolutely love how they handled that. Hey, you're gone. Boom, gone.
There's no wait, no deliberation, no bullshit.
Nope.
Just done.
Boom, gone. That was perfect.
Yeah, we got something right.
The Meyer Game Scratch Fiasco, like when I thought of this category, was literally this was what I was thinking about, and then you guys started filling stuff in, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that. Oh shit, I forgot about that. But I definitely think Modern Game Scratch Fiasco is one that's going to be kind of sticking around here for a little bit. Brian, is there one here you want to talk about?
I do.
Which one?
Just because it's horse racing and it's perfect, the lawsuits, all that crap. The coupled entries one bothers me just because you have brothers that ride non-coupled with shared interests, but you ban a husband and wife and say you have to be coupled, but you let blood relatives do it. That is a bad look. And then it went to the gaming board and they stayed by that ruling, and it was just, it's crap.
And then the governor of New York failed to overturn the rule when brought in front of the governor. Like, it was bad on every, like, multiple layers over a period of time. It was horrible.
It was, and and I understand it happened because of Katie Davis and Trevor McCarthy, and they got married, and also now have a cute little baby. If you guys have seen that, but
their family photos are annoyingly adorable.
But Irad and Jose are still allowed to do the crap that they're doing. It's just ridiculous to me, and it's a bad look for the sport as a whole. And Naira could have set precedent, and they failed miserably.
Yeah,
I moved the Monmouth Park buzzer incident over because of just like the other like nonsense around it, right? I mean, if you guys don't know, I forgot where it was. I think Bree Mott was in Monmouth for something, and at some point I think she posted something like, I have it on good authority that there's someone using a machine at Monmouth, and like I can't believe that people would do this and all this other stuff. And people like came at her, were like, you don't have any proof, blah blah blah, all this stuff, and people defended her, and so like Twitter blew up, similar to the Rachel thing, right? Twitter blew up, and everyone was going crazy. And sure enough, a couple weeks later, all of a sudden, someone's getting banned for using a buzzer at Monmouth, and it's like, how horse racing is that, right? Like, they know, like, someone knows something's going on, probably has said something to somebody in charge, is ignored, right? Influencer gets out there, Bree, we love Bree, she posts something, and that's what gets people attention all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden something gets done, right? Like, if the thing is, like, if we hear something, right, or if something gets posted on Twitter, that there's hundreds, or there's other people who know about this in much better shape, much better, well, of course, much better shape, but much, like, in a better spot to be able to actually do something about it. And the fact that it literally, like, it took it getting out on Twitter to something being done a couple weeks later, like, come on. Not to mention that Monmouth Park also stopped letting people bring coolers in this year.
The cherry on top.
Thank God it's back for 2022. But I thought that was a real strong contender because, like, I completely forgot. I forgot about the whole Bree Mott thing, and it just kind of ballooned out of that. Like, it's just pretty funny. Caleb, what do you got on here?
Yeah, so the Monmouth and Modern Games were definitely two heavy hitters, I thought, for sure. Looking at the list that I think, let's go over to the left, that we haven't really decided on. I don't really know what Joe Sharp litigation or Ramsey lawsuit is. Some rich asshole not paying some other rich asshole or something like that.
Yes.
That doesn't really, do a whole lot for me, but maybe I just don't know the details. I don't want to steal Josh's thunder, but I would tend to think that Arlington or Medina Spirit would be a big one in here, I think. Medina Spirit just, it's been, 8 months now, and we don't know, like, if the split sample's positive. It got destroyed by fucking UPS, or the Amazon guy took it to the wrong house. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's been such a mess, and there's no clear transparency in the whole proceedings. They still haven't officially disqualified him. It's just now, the horse is dead now. It just, even further compounding the scrutiny and everything around that. I think Medina Spirit's just a monstrous industry fuck up. 2 years removed from, or 3 years removed from maximum security, which is another black eye for the industry. And it's just horse racing not getting out of its own way.
Yeah, I put both the Joe Sharp and the Ramsey lawsuits on there. If anybody's not aware, Joe Sharp was tagged for a dewormer use violation, not a steroid, not an anabolic, not anything else, tagged for dewormer. And in the last about 2 weeks, the state of Kentucky has tossed out the lawsuit that they were dragging out for literally over a year, because they now made the dewormer he was using legal to give to horses, because it's a dewormer, it's not an anabolic. And the Ramsey lawsuit is the situation where the Ramseys, who were literally like, I think they were leading trainer a couple of years ago in the country, and they have had multiple years where they're top 5 trainers in the country, have a lawsuit going with Wes Ward, where there's a whole deal where they owed Wes apparently tens of millions of dollars of barn fees, and Wes was going to claim away a huge number of their horses, and there was a whole deal. So I threw both of those on there for just being absolute hot messes, because it was shit show in the media and stuff back and forth. I think Josh probably has this right here. Modern Games is number 1, and then I think you can make an argument between sort of the Naira coupled entries, Medina Spirit as 2 or 3. I don't know if the Monmouth Buzzer thing. To me, Monmouth is sort of a B/C tier track, and the fact that somebody's cheating at those levels doesn't surprise me. But I think Josh has it pretty much right here.
Yeah, Sixer also saying that the Maker also sued the Ramseys because they haven't been
Oh
paying.
yeah, no, there are multiple. The one that's gone to actual litigation, where now Wes Ward is allowed to have their horses be claimed away to cover expenses. That's just the furthest along. Maker has it. There's 3 or 4 other trainers who have litigation that has unpaid bills, and that's become a thing amongst a number of them. They clearly got way over their skis as far as their ownership is concerned, and
Can I be honest? I don't care about the owners screwing the trainers and vice versa. The game has limited resources of owners and trainers anyway. They're going to screw each other. They're going to screw each other. That is why you do your due diligence when you either take horses in, you work for a barn, you understand the situation. The fact that 5 trainers are all going after the Ramseys, it should speak volumes to people. You should have noticed that long before. If I'm a horse trainer, are you going to operate on 365 net terms? Come on, these people are. It's a handshake business. I get it, but at some point you draw the line and say, you know what, this isn't going to work anymore. It should never get to this point.
So
I
originally,
think that's exactly why it's a hot mess, right? Like that's exactly the category, that the fact that it should have never gotten to here, but it did on multiple levels. I think that defines the category.
But as a gambler, I could care less what the owners and trainers do to each other.
But again, we're not talking about just. I think we need to be, as gamblers, think about bigger than just being gamblers. I think we need to talk about the sport as a whole, and I think that's where the category tries to exemplify the sport as a whole.
You bring up the lawsuit against an owner from trainers, but you don't bring up the lawsuit by bettors against Baffert for pari-mutuel tampering.
There was a Baffert thing in here that Josh already got rid of it.
The Medina Spirit saga. It's all part of that. That lawsuit to me is underneath there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And valid, completely valid. But he's already moved it to the right. I was talking about the things that were remaining in the left.
I'm just saying, as a pari-mutuel person, I could care less what's happening outside of the pool when the gates open.
Maybe that's part of the problem, right?
Yeah, so Keep Pounding saying that he revised his odds. Medina Spirit Saga was most damaging to the sport, but Modern Games is the best illustration of problems for horse players. And then the funny part was I saw Stephen Fox saying, you have this wrong. Modern Games affected the bettors. No one cares, which is part of the problem. I think oftentimes we are. We're the customers, and sometimes I think
we're one of multiple customers, and the industry doesn't understand that we need to exist for the entire sport to exist. So it's a problem.
Yeah. The media humping Baffert is never going to stop. I mean, he's the for better or worse the face of the game. I'm kind of glad that he's starting to see at least a little bit of heat from people. Now I know it's coming from people like Joe Drape, and people are like now turning on Joe Drape because of one of the few people who I know of in major media that cover horse racing, and he now no one likes him because he's casting a bad light on the sport. And We did it to ourselves, or they did it to themselves. So the BC Sprint, who put this on here? Brian, was that you?
No, I didn't have
Mark?
any.
That was probably me, I think. Yeah.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, you had a bunch of no shows and horses that you thought would have been major players in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, and a horse that had basically come out of allowance company effectively pops a Breeders' Cup Sprint. I thought it was. I know we talked about that race a couple of times on stream, talking about how horses coming out of it, we were effective tosses. Like we thought that race came up just amazingly weak. And I thought it was just sort of telling on two things. It was telling on the fact that I think that sprint division has been very weak. Not that I want to go back a couple of years, but honestly, Whitmore won the race 2 years back. Love Whitmore, amazing horse, but he's not he's old and not the best horse ever. And I think it was pretty telling on a sort of a soft division and a soft category that I think gets a lot of praise. We always hear about these 6 furlong sprint horses that are, throw up big figures, and then absolute clunker comes and you have calamity factor. So I just thought it was a race that came up really soft, that had a bunch of hype around it and a bunch of, favorites and a bunch of big name horses that were running in it that everybody thought would put on a show, and a bomb actually wins it.
IG Buzzer I just put on here because whatever. It's quarter horses.
Do you want to talk about your home track, Josh?
I mean, like we can call it a shit show, but I mean, theoretically, they told us last year this was happening. No one believed them, and then they actually did it, and then they actually sold it to the Bears, and the Bears actually bought it.
Not yet.
I thought the Bears bought it.
There's an agreement. They don't close until like July.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, they didn't apply for racing dates. Basically, everybody in Illinois has decided to forget Arlington. I mean, CDI had to reach an agreement with Fairmount Park in order to keep Twin Spires running in Illinois. So, yeah, I mean, Illinois is ready to move on without Churchill outside of Rivers Casino. Churchill's also decided to move on from Illinois because the original plan was Churchill was going to apply for a casino license in a different location, and they've pulled out of those talks as well. So I think that it's going to be a clean split. It's going to be up to Hawthorne and possibly a new track to kind of pick up the slack. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a beautiful facility. It's a beautiful turf course. It's a great place to spend a summer day, and nothing beats Chicago area in the summer. So yeah,
really, Josh? Really?
Yeah, weather-wise,
Really?
Yeah.
Lots of places to beat Chicago in the summer.
Lots of places
Really?
in Chicago this summer.
Yeah.
I don't know about
Saratoga.
that.
Saratoga. I realized it rained when you were
Dude,
here.
yeah, it rains
Sorry,
all the
but-
fucking time in New York. But yeah,
the nice thing about Chicago is when you go outside for a cheeseburger, you might get shot. That's always fun.
Oh, cut out of here. Anyways, so we got 4 here. Got the Modern Game Scratch Fiasco, the Naira Coupled Entries for Married Couples, Monmouth Park Buzzer, and Medina Spirit Saga. What do you think goes here?
I think Modern Games and Medina Spirit are 1-2 or 2-1.
1-2. Well, they're 1-2. I think it becomes a conversation of, is it that fuck the better or that fuck the sport as a whole? You choose. If it screwed over the better, then it's probably the Modern Games situation. If it screwed over the sport as a whole, it's probably Medina.
I would probably vote Modern Games as number 1, just because of the way that shit went down. Like, it isn't just like it was a late scratch it's this whole coupled entry nonsense in the first place that then has a horse break through the gate, and then they scratch the horse too early, and then he wasn't actually scratched, and they re-enter him for purse money, and he was a big favorite in that race. He won like a big favorite should win. I mean, it's just such a horse racing thing on arguably horse racing's, biggest weekend, or, second biggest weekend anyway.
American horse racing.
American horse racing. So to me, that's kind of it. Although I wouldn't find anybody ever put Medina number one, just because of the fact that the Kentucky Derby is where the weekend warriors are going to know about. I mean, so I think that it's a tough call. I could go either way, but I'd lean toward modern games.
Yeah, and the Naira couple of entries thing, it pisses off a lot of us. It pisses off me in many ways, but like I think the modern game things is I don't know, like
Modern game is number one, right?
Yeah, it is. I think it's got to be number one, right?
John Mass says, how about you make the Gate Fiasco and Medina Spirit a couple of entry?
They're married, John. We can't do it.
So that's a comment.
We have a 1A and a 1X between the three.
If they were brothers, we could do it.
What do you guys think for third? Like, what do you think? You think Monmouth, or you think Naira?
I think they're both so small it doesn't matter. Personally,
I would go Monmouth buzzers, personally.
The buzzers affect the integrity of the race. So as a gambler, that's probably a bigger issue. The
1A for because they're married.
All right, what if I do this? What if I do this?
You know they're coupled before the race starts. You don't know what jockey has a buzzer.
Hold on. What if I add this in too? What if I add this in? Monmouth Park buzzer and no whips.
Well, now I just want a nay.
I mean, the whip thing doesn't really move the needle for me. I think Monmouth Park, like as annoyed as I am by the Naira coupled entries thing, I mean, let's not pretend like Katie Davis was getting some A-tier fucking mounts up at Aqueduct. I mean, most of her horses would.
But she also wasn't getting. She was never going to get A-tier mounts, but she wasn't getting mounts that she should because of who she married, and therefore they weren't giving her those mounts.
I mean, I get it. Like, it sucks, and the fact that the governor didn't overturn what should have been a no-brainer sucks. But I think it sucks less than the Monmouth buzzer thing, personally, for me.
Yep.
Stuart saying the ongoing Navarro trial and all that, the big cheating, the service in Navarro trial is bigger than Monmouth.
It wasn't really a hot mess. I think the government has handled that as best.
Very well. I honestly think they've actually handled it well.
I think the year that the news broke, that would have been like number one. But now that it's been a year or two and it's just like the trial proceeding and whatnot, I think it's been sort of as expected.
Agreed.
All right, how do we feel about this?
Cool.
Good. I'm fine.
All right, so congratulations, Modern Games. You created the hottest mess of the year. No fault of your own. It's actually probably the stewards for scratching the horse so early. But, man, what a fucked up situation that was on the sports, quote-unquote, biggest day. And that's what happens. Medina Spirit Saga, it's still ongoing. I mean, clear number 2. If John Massey's saying a 1A, and then Monmouth Park and their buzzer situation, and no whips, which doesn't move the needle for Caleb nor David Aragona. Yeah, and John, I think, makes a good point. He's like, Modern Games made it more fiasco by actually winning. I mean, people were single to that horse. People in the BC were single to that horse in doubles, and I know if you guys didn't get a chance to listen to the podcast last night, I talked with Chase, and Chase actually brought up what happened during that race. Our friend Tommy was trying to get his bets in, Tom McNamara, and they had people, like, the windows were backed up because everyone's trying to change their bets, and all this stuff was going on, and it really just made it a mess. So, but let's move on to our last category here. Horse of the Year. This is the big one. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start just moving ones over that I think...
You can stop now.
You can stop now. We're done. It's over. Cool. We're good.
You forgot Channel Maker.
Yeah, we're Channel Maker up there. We got the hat now.
So
is anybody going to argue with choice number 1? Like, Knicks go on top. Is anybody going to really sit here and say there's a horse that had a better campaign, deserves more, is better? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Josh, but just
no,
really.
Essential quality doesn't belong there.
Well, I mean, if Life is Good is over here, I mean, essential quality. was 3-year-old of the year. So
And Mark was downright giddy for Space Blues.
I was right. Let's point I was right. Can we mention I was right when I said
all right, so Space Blues is
the-
gone.
Oh, you bastards! You bastards!
Take Gamine off.
You
Yeah,
can get
I'm-
pretty good mean Jackie's Warrior.
Yeah, Gamine. We talked about Gamine. We talked about Jackie's Warrior.
Warlock Goddess probably doesn't stack up if Love's Only You's already up there.
Yeah, not here.
Yeah.
Who the fuck's Pink Lloyd?
Hey, don't bash Pink Lloyd.
Isn't that like 26-year-old Canadian horse?
Yes, that's him. I threw him on there just so Josh could delete him.
Yabir, we've already talked about. I don't think he holds a candle, or she. Is it she or he?
She.
He, whatever, holds a candle to the rest of these here.
Brian doesn't care. He either way.
So I do want to bring up Echo Zulu because we didn't do any 2-year-old awards. Like, I mean, we've already gone to 9:30 a little bit later than we normally do, with just the limited amount of categories we had here. We want to do some fun ones. But Echo Zulu was a very impressive horse. I'm excited to see what she does at 3. But yeah, I mean, probably would have been, if we did a 2-year-old horse of the year, probably would have been the 2-year-old horse of the year, right? Unless you guys would have made an argument for Jack. Is it Jack Christopher who won the
Corniche.
or Corniche, yeah. But yeah, but honestly, we didn't want to do 2-year-olds because Caleb hates handicapping them. So, but if we did, I think Echo Zulu was the most dominant 2-year-old, but not going to make this list, so we will delete. But figure we should talk here. All right, so we got a list of 6 horses here. Where do we want to start?
You can toss Space Blues. Obviously, he won 1 race in the U.S. I understand that. I put him up there purely because I love the horse. He's been just amazing to me. But he's, I was shocked they brought him over here to run in the turf mile, and amazingly happy that they did. He showed who he is, and great win. But he probably doesn't. He's a hard one to get to for horse of the year, considering who's above him on the list.
I do love Dennis Trusty's comment. Who's Pink Lloyd? Who's Caleb WVU?
Oh, I do like. He does remember my Twitter handle. Makes me feel nice. Yeah. It's not gets in my profile picture.
You know who we haven't seen tonight? I really thought we'd see
John Lloyd,
Jared Bush.
We haven't talked about any picks.
Yeah, Jared Bush had all these horses, so
there's a carryover at Sam Houston, but Jared Bush hit it.
Yeah.
He hit it yesterday, though.
All right, so we got 5 horses left. Caleb, who off this list? Who are you knocking off?
Who am I knocking off?
Mm-hmm.
I'm knocking off Love's Only You, probably.
Yep.
And EQ.
And EQ. And I love EQ, but EQ doesn't.
I would put EQ. I'll be in a minority here, so I'll speak out. But I think Latrice could be the next one to knock off. Her record's fine, but this is horse of the year. So, if you look at kind of the figures she's run against the quality of horses she's beaten, I mean, those aren't fast enough to beat anything that Life is Good or Essential Quality can do, even on their bad day.
But Essential Quality got a little lucky, right? Essential Quality, I say lucky, but ran good, but couldn't win the big race, whether it was trouble or what have you. So if you're going to knock who she faced, you gotta knock who Essential Quality actually beat, right?
I mean, she's facing restricted company. She's facing fillies and mares. She isn't fast enough, as somebody once said, to win this race. You put these 4 horses in the race, and she gets beat by 10 lengths by any of them. What odds do you need on Latrice got a better on a 4-horse field right here?
Oh man, 10-1.
Yeah, what distance? What distance are we going?
9 furlongs.
Yeah, 10-1.
Okay, but in that same race, next go is 3-5.
3-5, 1-9.
No, I think 3-5. People love Life is Good.
Let's be generous. Let's be generous, stupid, right? All right. This is horse of the year, right? This is our big category. We'll do 5. We'll do top 5 instead of doing top 3. All right. Let's work on ordering here. Is it anybody saying that Nick's Go is not number 1?
He's number 1 for me.
There you go.
He's by a mile.
Okay. So let's talk number 2. I mean, we already voted Essential Quality 3-year-old of the year. Does that put Essential Quality as number 2 here?
It puts him at least
No.
above Life is Good.
I see what you're doing. I see what
Really?
you're doing there.
I mean, given our previous discussion, it almost has to. I mean,
Yeah.
Even though I know you kind of like Life is Good.
I do. I do. I've heard he was the horse of generation. So
Yes.
a wise man once said that. But I don't understand the argument for saying Essential Quality is better than Life is Good. Like, what argument are you making there? Like,
Brad Cox.
16 furlongs, who you got?
The hot Cox. Some I refer to him as.
None of these horses, but that doesn't really matter.
John
to my
Massey
line,
with the only
they're-
right answer, Lone Rocket, 16 furlongs.
That is the right answer. Right there, you go. I just.
I'll be honest. We all agreed on number 1. The other 4 I could care less about.
Josh. Yeah, no, I think we have number 1. The gap between number 1 and everybody else is again a chasm here, and I think it's Nick's Go, and then chew it up however you want. We can argue it all day, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to bet most likely Life is Good against Nick Sko in 2 weeks, if I bet the Pegasus at all. But Nick Sko is hands down horse of the year, and Life is Good he hasn't proven it enough. I think his potential is there, but he hasn't proven it enough to be,
You're going to take the horse that's never done the thing over the horse who has done the thing. Got it.
I'm
also probably going to take the horse that's never done the thing at 3 times the price.
I don't know if you're gonna. I don't think you're gonna get 3 times the price. I really, honestly don't.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know what, even money in 9 to 5, something like that.
Yeah, even money or 9 to 5, and even money or 9 to 5. I'll take even money all day.
Don't care about your odds. What horse do you pick?
I mean, I would have it close to this personally. I mean, I would probably switch 3 and 4, but otherwise, that's how I would have it. But you don't have to switch it. I mean, I know. People like Latruska, so
I'm good with it.
I'm fine with it. I'm completely fine with it.
All right. So our top 5 horses of the year. Number 5, Love's Only You. Number 4, Life is Good. Number 3, Latruska. Number 2, Essential Quality. Number 1, Nick's Go. And I think I'm gonna this weekend when I got some time, I will go ahead and I will write up an article. We got our winners here. And we'll just post them, and I'll put a link to the video. So if you guys want to hear our deliberations with some timestamps, we can relive what was the year 2021. Moving forward, 2022. Caleb, what do you like at the Lecompte this weekend? I know you're now the fairgrounds. You're the fairgrounds expert now. Now you've rejuvenated your love for fairgrounds.
I have. I learned to look on my Briz PPs for this letter and this number next to each other. Like an E8, I believe. The Lecompte is like a nice race, and honestly, it's not even the best race on the card, I don't think, because you have Mandaloon squaring off against I think Midnight Bourbon. I think.
Hey, hate to do it. I gotta go, guys.
Going to be a sick race.
See you, Brian.
See you, Brian. Yeah, in the race itself, the Lecompte, I'm going to go with the second choice on the morning line, who may end up being your favorite, Epicenter. I just think he's got the right run style for this. He has Rosario up for Asmussen and Winchell Thoroughbreds. He gets this trip. He likes fairgrounds. I'm going to go against Papa Cap. I think he's going to get overbet off the Breeders' Cup races, and I'm going to go with Epicenter, the new shooter.
Cool, Mark. What are you looking forward to this weekend?
This weekend I will be trying to get myself a what was it, LCQ entry. So I know you guys have all had one. I will probably be taking some shots and maybe trying to get into a very, very last minute NHC qualifier. I really don't have any surf races I'm super interested in, but just trying to get into things. So for our Vegas trip.
Cool. Yeah, and same. I'm probably gonna just be playing some contests this weekend, trying to get used to playing that win place contest thing again. Tomorrow, I think ExpressBet might be having their contest again, so I'll probably jump in that. And yeah, that's probably gonna be it for me. We this is kind of the start of the Derby preps. So I know Caleb. I don't know. Are you still doing? Are you going to be doing that article for HRN this weekend?
May or may not have an article. Stakes racing's been very sparse, so I haven't been. I'm not going to force it. We only have one stakes to go against a favorite. We'll have a little Road to the Derby kind of show on HRN, just like a 10-minute preview show, so to speak, going back and forth, looking at the Derby prep races this year. So real quick, listen. Should only be 5-10 minutes probably. So check it out on HRN. We're filming tomorrow. Should be out probably tomorrow night or Saturday morning.
Cool. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. Thank you guys. I mean, we went 2 hours. We went a little bit longer than we normally do, but thank you guys for participating. We were able to put some of your guys' suggestions into use here, and always love talking horses with you guys. So next week, Mark and I will at least be in Vegas. I think Mr. Backclass is Brian is up in the air, and Caleb has decided to just spurn the rest of us. But we may or may not try and do something. It depends on on when stuff wraps up. So we'll try and get something out this week. See what timing looks like. I'll be bringing my laptop. So worst case is we can do this on the laptop. So yeah, we will catch you guys later.